You're listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul.
Check, check, 1, 2. Hope you like a little country, some rock and roll and blues, 'cause we sure love playing for good people like you. Let me know if you can hear me. Check, check, 1, 2.
Welcome to Music Local and Sustainable, the radio show that features discussions with and the music of local musicians. I am your host, Dave Lake. Tonight we're talking with local singer-performer J.J. Collins, known for her work with the Lucas Theater Cabaret Series and with the musical group Uncommon Collective. She is the one with a powerful voice, and in performance, she is the powerful, dramatic, inspirational, and the funny one. Welcome, J.J. Collins.
Thank you. That's a fun introduction. Maybe I should use that for my next cabaret.
After the last cabaret, I was really tempted to put in the sexy one.
Ah!
As you said.
That's a far-flung goal. One can aspire. We try. But I always wind up being the funny one anyway. It's all right.
That's one of the things about the cabarets is that they are really hilarious. Know that you guys like one another.
Oh yeah, we actually do. We just love each other. We love working together. The cabarets are halfway a reason to get together and sing because we enjoy each other's company, and it's so nice to be in a city that has so much talent that you can put together a really great show quickly. Just because of the magnitude of talent. You're sharing the stage with people who are equally or more talented than yourself, and that's fun. It makes you step up your own game.
Your cabaret, which
yes.
is the tribute to Barbra Streisand.
Yes.
Why Barbra Streisand?
Oh, she's always been my hero. I think she is one of the most talented performers of our lifetime. Her powerhouse vocals, her phrasing, her authentic and vulnerable and raw performances. I just admire everything about her. And she sings gorgeous music. She picks gorgeous songs. And she has won awards in the past 6 decades. She is the only person to do that. She's really iconic. And so if I can aspire to anyone, it would be her. And I love her music. Her music is right in my wheelhouse. I was putting together the concert and laying out the program and putting together the music. And usually when I put together a program, like when I did the Patsy Cline show last year or doing the Rhinestone Cowboy one this year, I have to go to Music Notes and buy music, or I have to buy the books off of Amazon. With the Streisand concert, I think I put together the entire concert and didn't have to buy a single piece of music because I already had it, because I've been singing her music forever. No, I had to buy one piece. I had to buy Putting It Together.
So the song Putting It Together will be a new one for your performance.
Yes.
That's a new one for you.
If I can get it together in time, no pun intended. It's a very difficult song to sing. It's very fast-paced and crisp. It's got lots and lots and lots of words. And it's my opener. That one's a hard one. So, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
It has to come to life. Bit by bit, putting it together. Piece by piece, on the way to make a work of art. Every moment makes a contribution. Every little detail plays a part. Having just vision's no solution. Everything depends on execution. Putting it together, that's what counts. Ounce by ounce, putting it together. Small amounts setting up to make a work of art. First of all, you need a good foundation. Otherwise, it's risky from the start. Takes a little work can be on exhibition.
And that's from the musical Sunday in the Park with George.
Yes.
And Stephen Sondheim must be one of the hardest composers to sing.
A lot of people say that. For me, he is very easy to sing. He fits just in my sweet spot. Kurt Weill is not easy to sing for me. He's a composer that's very, very difficult to sing, and I'm not sure why, but Sondheim flows for me. He writes a little bit like I think, because I'm lyric driven and because I'm really connected to the lyric. He is easier to sing than some composers for me. Of course, he's challenging, but he fits in a sweet spot for me, like Andrew Lloyd Webber and Jason Robert Brown. But there's some composers that are more difficult to sing. Stephen Schwartz is hard for me to sing for some reason.
Jason Robert Brown.
Oh, he's my hero.
What songs?
Oh, he was the composer of The Last 5 Years and Bridges of Madison County, Songs for a New World, which I will sing those every single opportunity I can get. I am completely in love with the music of Bridges of Madison County, and Kelly O'Hara singing her pieces from that musical is divine. Kelly O'Hara is also one of my icons, and her renditions of his songs, they're amazing. They're very inspiring for a singer like me. His music is very complicated, but it is exquisite. He will be iconic. He will go down in history as one of our greatest musical theater composers, period, in my opinion. I think he's marvelous.
Are there any particular songs from Bridges of Madison County that you are particularly attracted to?
Oh, Almost Real is one of my favorite ones.
When a girl grows up in Napoli, there are roads laid out before her, and you understand I'm speaking of the times before the war. When a girl grows up in Napoli, she's more or less a target for her mama's expectations, for the boys' infatuations. All she gets is one decision: will she give them what they want? My sister Chiara wore tight-fitting sweaters unbuttoned just so. Chiara would squeeze every drop of attention wherever she'd go. Chiara said, Cesca, you must be prepared. Chiara would act as though nobody cared. Chiara would laugh at me quiet and scared. And I dreamed of a flat in Siena on the market square, with a book and a pot and a window and a single chair. Far from lonesome, far from Chiara, almost real. Paolo was a boy from down the hill, with silver eyes and hair like coal, and massive hands that trembled when he looked my way. Paolo was a boy who loved to swim, and who knows why I fell for him, but soon enough I kissed him on a winter's day. Chiara said, Cesca, he's dull and he's dumb. You'll end up a farm wife, exhausted and numb. I'm off to the serviceman's club, you should come. But I dreamed of the beach at Ancona, where our kids would play. Paolo right by my side, and the ocean only steps away. Close to heaven, far from Chiara, almost real. Chiara went dancing while air raid sirens were shrieking. Chiara would open her legs just as easy as speaking. Paolo went off with the army and never returned. And all that Chiara could say was, I hope now you've learned. And the streets were rubble, and the water was filthy, and there were no cigarettes, and no haircut, and no thinking about the future. And I sat at the harbor, watching the American ships. And then I looked up and I saw an American smile down at me. And I knew if I just took his hand, I could at last be free. Almost
The first time I saw that video of her singing Almost Real, I was looking for music for the Savannah Music Festival concert that we did. I was flipping through YouTube and flipping online and just looking for music, the things that I may not have heard, and I just stumbled across her singing this, and I was riveted. I couldn't tear my eyes away from the screen, and I couldn't breathe. It was just one of those moments. I probably watched it 15, 16 times in a row, just kept putting it on repeat to try to get all the nuances, and I was just fascinated with the song and with her. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of music.
Tonight we're talking with J.J. Collins. Now you sing multiple songs with very complicated lyrics.
I will often use a lyric sheet so that my performance is present and so that I'm not concerned about remembering the lyrics, so that isn't distracting me from my actual performance. because a lot of times I'll never even look at the lyric sheet, but knowing it's there will make me be able to completely divest into the song. For other performers, it's different. For other performers, if they have the lyric sheet there, they can't go into the character. If I have the luxury of having a lyric sheet with me, if I'm not in an actual musical theater production, of course you can't. And if I'm doing a concert, if I can have a lyric sheet or a prompter of some kind, then I'm not concerned about lyric. I'm only concerned about character. I'm only concerned about delivery and singing the piece of music. And I'm not thinking about what the next thing is coming up, because I have a lot of trouble remembering lyric, especially when I've gotten really into the song, because I'll lose myself in the song and not remember where I am or not remember what I'm doing and not be thinking about the next thing because I'm living in that moment, singing that thing that I'm singing right then and not thinking about what's coming next. And then all of a sudden I'm in a lyric and I think, I don't know what I'm singing. And if I have the lyric sheet there, I don't have to worry about that, which makes it really nice. I actually remember and memorize foreign languages better than I remember English. And I think that's because I get really invested in the English lyric when I'm singing it, so I don't remember the next line. But when I'm singing the foreign language, I have the feel of the song, what keywords mean, done the background work on translation, and so I know what it means, but I'm not thinking as much about the lyric as I am about vocal production when I'm singing an aria, for instance. I'm thinking a lot about overall character and correct vocal production, and so the lyric flows more easily for me with the foreign languages than they do in English. Because in English, I just get lost in the lyric because I'm lyric driven.
Lost in the meaning of the lyric, or lost in the emotion of the lyric, or both?
Both. The meaning and the emotion of the lyric, because I am character and acting and conveying what the meaning of that lyric is to the audience. That is the most important thing to me, because you can sing with the most beautiful voice in the entire world, but unless you're conveying the meaning of the lyric to the audience, you might as well be playing an instrument instead of singing a lyric. That's what sets us apart. That's what makes us different from all the other instruments out there, is that we have words, and those words convey meaning and emotion to the audience. And so my objective is to help the audience feel whatever it is that I am singing, because that's my job, is to make them feel what I'm feeling and to connect up with that. Because so often we go through life and we don't really connect up to our feelings, and in a performance, in a concert setting, the audience is being forced to sit and rest and be in one spot for a specified period of time. They can't do anything else. They can't go anywhere else. It's rude to check your phone. You can't have a conversation. You have to just be and experience. And it gives them a chance to breathe, to think, to feel, to emote, to do these things that we put off in the rest of our daily lives as we go around. And so I consider myself to be a facilitator in helping them go through different emotions intensely that they don't necessarily feel when they're just like at their desk processing insurance.
A vocal therapist.
I do the same thing in the voice lessons with my students. Is we talk a lot about processing your own emotions through the music.
When you were putting together the Streisand, what's the first one you thought of?
Memory from Cats.
the memory live again. Burnt out ends of smoky days, the stale cold smell of morning, the street lamp dies, another night is over, another day is dawning. Daylight, I must wait for the sunrise, I must think of a new life, and I mustn't give in. When the dawn comes, tonight will be a memory too, and a new day will begin. Burnt out end of smoky days, the still cold smell of morning, a street lamp dies, another night is over, another day is dawning. Touch me, so easy to leave me alone with the memory of my days in the sun. If you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. Look, a new day has begun.
A lot of people think it's a little overdone and a little cheesy, but I love the schmaltzy stuff and the cliched stuff and the stuff that's been sung too much and the stuff that everybody says, oh, that's tiresome, oh, that's been done so much, oh, but it's been done so much because it's awesome, because it's fantastic, because it's fabulous music. If it weren't fabulous music, it wouldn't be done so much. So I like to do it with my own personal take on it and my own phrasing, and audiences, especially nowadays, they don't get to hear this music. It's not overdone for them. I mean, how often are you going to go to a club or out to eat or a concert or anything and hear these legendary pieces? You just don't anymore. And so, I mean, back in the day, you know, maybe you would hear Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered, but now people don't even know a lot of this music anymore. So how can it be overdone? I love Memory from Cats and Evergreen and The Way We Were and Not While I'm Around, There's a Sondheim. All of those typical Streisand pieces. Papa, Can You Hear Me?
Will there be other artists performing during that Streisand show?
Natasha Drana and I may do a duet. She does such a great Judy Garland. That's what she's kind of known for. Well, one of the many things that she's known for. She's such an incredible artist. But she and I may do the Happy Days Are Here Again duet that Barbara and Judy did.
Forget your trouble. Happy days get happy. Are here again. The skies are clear again. So let's sing a song that's here again. Get ready for the judgment again. That sun is shining all together. The Lord is waiting to take and down now. So let's take on. Happy Happy days are here
Gabriel Michael Lawrence is my pianist, and I'm excited to work with him. I stumbled across him playing at Savannah Beer and Hymns. And the first time I went to Savannah Beer and Hymns at Moon River, I was down in the basement, and I thought, how do I not know this guy? And I went up to him at the break, and I said, how do we not know each other? And he said, well, who are you? And I said, well, I'm J.J. Collins. He's like, oh, I know who you are. And I was like, oh, you do? And he said, yeah, I've seen you on Facebook. And so we got to talking, and I said, why don't you come over to my house, and let's just jam a little and see if we jive at all. So he comes over to the house, and with a lot of pianists, well, with some, they have this I'm doing you a favor kind of mentality, especially if they come to your house and that kind of thing, and you feel very pressed for time, and you feel like you've put them out. With Gabriel, it was just great because he kept saying, oh, I see you have backed before, let's do that one, and let's sing this, and let's sing that, because he was just having a great time. He loves the music, and so he just wanted to keep playing, and that is such a blessing. And it was really great because he sat down and he said, what do you want to start with? And I said, memory, because it's nice and easy to knock out, and you get a good feel for him on that. And he said, what key do you want it in? And then he said, now, which arrangement of Barbara's are you doing on this? Because on this one album, she kind of did it this way, and then on this other album, she did it this way. And I thought, yes, that is fantastic. That is exactly who I want to be playing on the Streisand concert. And we played and sang and played, and he's just awesome. He's fantastic. So I am very grateful to be working with him. He's got such a positive attitude and a great energy and sweet spirit and chops for days. He can play the piano. So we're set. We're excited.
You're listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. You're listening to music local and sustainable, and I'm your host, Dave Lake. Tonight we're talking with J.J. Collins. But apparently there'll not be You Don't Bring Me Flowers.
Nope, actually I'm not singing that one. I thought about it, and I may add it in still. I may actually see if Gabriel wants to do it because he sings. So we might do a little duet from the piano kind of thing.
Now, while we were rehearsing, Gabriel said, oh, why don't we do a duet together? I was like, oh, that's right, you sing. So, we have to do You Don't Bring Me Flowers. I mean, come on, right? Because, Neil Diamond, right? How many of you knew or no, that Neil Diamond and Barbara Streisand went to high school together and sang in the same glee club. There's one, there's two, there's three. Yes! Crazy, right? I mean, what a glee club. I'd have been like, dang, how come? What? So, I just think that's a great little bit of trivia. It's all warm. Thank you. You don't bring me flowers. You don't sing me love songs.
Hardly talk to me anymore when you come through the door at the end of the day.
I remember when you couldn't wait to love me, used to hate to leave me. Now after loving me late at night,
When it's good for you and you're feeling alright,
will you just roll over, turn out the light? You don't bring me flowers anymore.
used to be so natural.
Used to be.
Talk about forever. Used to be don't count anymore. They just lay on the floor till we sweep them away.
Baby, I remember all the things you taught me.
Learn how to laugh, and I learned how to cry.
I learned how to love, and I learned how to lie.
You think I could learn how
You
to tell you
think I could learn how to tell you goodbye?
'cause you don't bring me flowers
Anymore. Well, you think I could learn how to tell you goodbye.
say you need me.
You don't sing me love songs.
You don't
bring me flowers
One of the thing is, we're all so stretched thin, especially during cabaret season, that it's got to be something really particular that I'm going to ask a favor. That I'm going to say, hey, you want to spend your Thursday night singing for free? So, yeah, it would have to be a really perfect thing for me to call in a favor on that. So, and she's got so much music. In fact, when I first started putting it together, bit by bit, that's what I entitled my spreadsheet, where I was coming up with the timing of everything and the order and all of that. I had 40 songs on the list. And then I kind of whittled it down to about 28. And then I threw it out on Facebook just to make sure that I wasn't missing anything really obvious, because I wasn't thinking about it. And I just said, hey, what's your favorite Barbra Streisand song? Well, I got like 45 songs responses. A lot of them I already had, but my list popped back up to about 35 songs again. And I was trying to get it whittled down to around 23, 24, so I could do maybe 11 songs a set. 10 to 12 songs a set is about all you really need to do, and then to make it enjoyable for people and to keep it to the 45 minutes a set. And so trying to strike songs off the list. And finally came up with a list. I think I've got 23 songs.
Now, when you're putting together a program like that, what do you think of in terms of the pacing? How do you sequence the songs through a program? So let's just take the Streisand program and your thoughts about how you're going to pace it through.
I love putting a program together. It's one of the most fun things that I do in my career is putting programs together, because I think of it like a little bit of a journey and putting together how I want to lead the audience along in feeling and in pace and in mindset. When I did the comedy cabaret year before last, I was a little concerned because it was all comedy. And so the pacing was very odd for me because it was all funny music. And so the pacing was all funny. And so what do? You don't have the ballad. You don't have the angry song. That was different. But usually I try to tell a story of some kind. Usually I try to lead. That's the beauty of a cabaret. So I usually try to lead an audience through a journey. And I'll put two sweet songs together going into a faster paced song so the audience doesn't get sleepy. So you think about that, and you can't put something really, really sweet and serious after something really raucous, because the audience isn't ready for that. You have to kind of taper them down off of that. You can't jerk the emotional content around, because then the audience can't invest. They can't get into the groove of something. So you have to think about that and monitor it. With the Streisand concert, it's going to be a little bit different, because one of the things that I really love about her is her legend. And so I'm leading through the decades. And I'm going 60s, 70s in the first, 80s, and then 90s and to present in the second. We'll be going decades, and I'll be kind of crafting the sets within the sets to do what I need them to do. I definitely have to think of like the opener, the closer, coming back in after being off stage, how the songs flow into each other, how they'll sound back to back. And I will often run the program from start to finish 4 or 5 times before I call the program set, because I want to see how it flows. The flow is very important to me when I'm setting up a program. Some people just kind of throw the songs together and it's fine, but I like to spend a little bit more time crafting the show. That's important to me.
And she performed You'll Never Walk Alone at the 2001 Emmys in honor of the victims of September 11th. But talking about You'll Never Walk Alone, she said, "I love the message of the song. We're all slightly afraid, aren't we?" Inspired by America, Barbara observed, "We at least are united as a people. It's wonderful to feel so much brotherhood. I'm just grateful we live in a country where we're allowed to sing and have music and express ourselves and our emotions. It's a very sad time in our history, a frightening time, and I wanted to give something back to the people and our country. We need to let our fear make us into better people somehow. Tonight actually had a purpose, so I was a little less afraid than usual. It was good that those of us who could came out to honor our profession and make a statement that we go on through our field. I think we've come to a different kind of consciousness, that we really take the time to smell the flowers and to treat each other a little more respectfully and feel the power of love. And the power of love is stronger than death. Every day is a blessing. Every day is a gift, the gift of life."
Hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a
Tonight we're talking with J.J. Collins. Now, when you're involved in a cabaret with several performers, how does that get shaped?
By the director. Like, for instance, the London Calling one that we just did. Natasha, she was musically directing that one, and she heard what everybody wanted to do and put it together to have some kind of flow to it so that it didn't seem too disjointed. That's a harder thing to do, though. That's one of the reasons why I like doing a solo show sometimes, is because you can craft it with your own music, because when you have a lot of people coming in, you have less leeway of what songs you can do where, because they have the songs they want to sing. And if you've got Valerie and Yesterday on the same program, you know, what do you do with that? Where do you put them? How do you seg those into each other? It was not an enviable task that she had the other day.
Now, when you come to a cabaret like that with a lot of people, do you bring several songs to the table and then debate what songs go where or what songs might fit? Or do you bring in just your core? I've got to do this one.
Well, it's actually a mix of those. Often we say, okay, I can do these songs in this genre pretty well. I brought a little handful of songs. I told Natasha, I said, I can do an Adele song, whatever Adele song you want to do. And she came back and she said, what about any of these three? And I said, out of those three, I like Hello the best.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. May say that time's supposed to heal you, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were younger and free. I've forgotten how it felt before the world fell at our feet. There's such a difference between us and a million miles. So hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call, you never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. But it don't matter, never seems to be hard anymore. Hello, how are you? It's so typical of me to talk about myself. I'm sorry. I hope that you're well. Did you ever make it out of that town when nothing ever happened? And it's no secret that the both of us are running out of time. So hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you
And we kind of whittled it down like that. And so she picked 2 of the songs that I offered up and then kind of assigned me another song. And that's sort of how that happens. Is usually you'll bring a little group of songs, and there'll be like one usually that you're like, I really want to do this one. Can we see if we can fit this one in and work around it? And usually you can. Usually you can make it make sense. There have been a couple of times where we're like, yeah, that just doesn't go. Can't work it in. Can't figure that out. But most of the time you can make it work.
Now, I have to say that performance of Hello was remarkable. It was very emotional. And in your introduction, made it even more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at which Adele song to sing, I wanted to pick a song that I really liked. When I was looking at this song that I'm going to sing, I really hated the lyrics because I thought, I do not want to be that girl. I don't want to be that girl. Because the idea of my ex calling me and saying, hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like me to go over everything. They say that time's supposed to heal you, but I ain't done much healing. Yeah, no, not so much. I don't think about your ex. You don't want that, right? So I didn't want to be the girl singing that. So I went and researched it and discovered that Adele actually wrote this to her younger self, which makes it a marvelous piece of music. So I encourage you to listen with the fresh ear. She didn't write this to her ex. She wrote this to herself.
When you have a multiple artist show like the opener of this season, London Calling, are you restricted to what you can say in the introduction to a song?
Oh, no.
Or it's just, you're open?
You're open, wide open. There's no real limitations. Natasha and David Harris, who runs Lucas, they pretty much trust us because they know us. Well, maybe trust is a strong word. They know we're going to do what we want to do anyway. So they kind of have to trust us. But they wouldn't put anybody up that they don't trust. Let's just put it that way. If they're worried about somebody being a loose cannon, they probably aren't going to ask them to come sing to begin with. We all do shows, and we've all been, on stage, and we're all comfortable with our banter with the audience. And so they're like, do your thing. So sometimes we'll have points that we need to hit. If there are raffle tickets or if there's shows coming up that we're wanting to push and let people know about, and if there's a one right around the corner that we really want to make sure that people go ahead and buy their tickets for or something like that, then we'll do that in our banter. But most of the time it's whatever you want to do.
Back to my introduction. That actually came as a result of a comment that you had made in the first show of the season, London Calling, about being called the funny one. Every time you came up, you always had the joke. You had the
I know, it's my coping mechanism.
The funny line. But I could see where people who may not be familiar with you and London Calling show or the Streisand show as examples would wonder where that line came from.
Yeah.
Because these were very emotional, very heartfelt.
Ballad. Yeah, exactly. I love the comedy. I'm often cast in comedic roles. I love the punchline, and I love making an audience laugh. I often tell my students who, they're like, oh, I want to be the ingenue, I want to be the pretty one, I want to be the... And I get that. I do get that. But there is something about making people laugh that is extremely gratifying and extremely rewarding, and to be able to make people smile and enjoy themselves and forget about their problems for a minute, that's great. That's the ultimate reward for me. But my voice is very well suited for the power ballad, for the 11th hour number kind of thing, because it's big. It's a big voice. So it really does swing back and forth from the angst and torment to the comedy, and I get both ends of it. I don't do the rocker thing really well, or the pop thing. That's not really in my wheelhouse. I don't do that particularly well. But the musical theater, power ballads, And I think that comes from my background in opera, what I'm trained in. And so I got my master's in. And that helps me navigate through the power ballads really easily.
Yeah, your master's in vocal performance, which is opera.
Yeah. At the conservatories, you don't get vocal performance in musical theater. It's going to be an opera.
Yeah, probably Berkeley in Boston would probably be the only one where vocal performance major would not be considered opera. It would be probably considered a pop or...
Right, exactly. And there are some around, but usually on the master's level, you get into the secondary education. If you're doing vocal performance, it's often operatic classical training, especially at the big conservatories. I went to Peabody Conservatory at Johns Hopkins, and if I had belted there, they would have snatched me up in a heartbeat. If they had heard anything with a lowered soft palate come out of my mouth, they would have pulled me off the stage with a shepherd's crook. But that's all right. I enjoy what I do.
When you're doing a performance, we talked specifically about your song selection for the Streisand because you have entire control over that. What do you look for in a song to get the J.J. Collins song?
I listen for a few different things. I don't ever listen to the radio. Usually when I'm in my car, I'm not listening to anything. I need silence. But when I'm searching for songs, like when I'm on my walks and my runs or when I'm working out, I'll often have it on Spotify, on a Broadway mix, and or I do the same thing. And it has to have a really good melodic line. I have to like the melody. And it just has to have a resonating lyric. If it doesn't have a lyric that resonates, I have a hard time with it. And it has to be something I think is in my wheelhouse. If I don't feel like my voice will sound good on it, I don't even consider it. If it's not something that really, really speaks to my voice and my interpretation of things and my way of approaching things, I usually just don't even consider it. Like a lot of Edith Piaf, they did an Edith Piaf night, and a lot of her songs, I just don't sing well, so I don't even try. They just don't sound right in my voice. Joni Mitchell, I love her music. Just love her lyrics just resonate with me. A lot of times when I try to sing them, they just don't sound right in my voice. Jenny Woodruff is doing a Joni Mitchell both sides now, and I'm so excited to hear it because, maybe there will be one that resonates with me that I can do later. Like, I love her music, and I just can't seem to sing it well. It's strange. So I look for things I can hear my voice in, that the lyrics resonate with me. And if both of those things kind of fit, then I can go for it. And I'll sing along with them and see how it feels. And if it feels good in my voice, and if the lyrics seem timeless, like I can sing it for a long time without ever getting tired of it, then I'll go for it. Then sometimes there are songs that I don't really like that much, but they fit so well in the program that I go on ahead and do it anyway because it just is in that little sweet spot in the program. I did a concert one time where I sang Taylor the Latte Boy. I don't really like the song that much. It doesn't sound that great in my voice. It's okay. But I sang it because it just fit perfectly right in that little spot, so I kept it. Another one of the Streisand songs that I didn't know, I'd heard it, but I didn't know it, is What Matters Most. And the lyrics were just so perfect. They're just such sweet, perfect lyrics. I mean, the song is simple. There's nothing showy about it. There's nothing, no big belty notes or runs or anything like that. But the lyrics were just so perfect. And they resonated with me because that's kind of how I feel in my relationship. And so I can sing it from the heart is because I feel those lyrics. This is kind of the second act for both of us, act 2 for both of us, and we don't get to look forward to having a 60th wedding anniversary kind of thing. But what matters, because we'll live that long. But what matters most is this time that we have right now, and so those lyrics resonate.
When you're trying to draw on emotions, how much of it comes out of the lyric and how much comes out of your life?
There's really not a separation for me. I will always relate it to something. Usually in my own life, and if not in my own life, I'll project it onto someone else's life that I know, like I know their story, and I'll sing through their experience. Like if I haven't personally experienced it, but I know what that feels like because I've talked with them enough about it, or I can imagine it, then I'll sing through their experience. Most of the time, I never divorce my own personal experience from the lyric. I will always find something to connect up with, otherwise I won't do the song.
So tonight we've been talking with local singer and performer J.J. Collins. I've really appreciated the chance to talk with you because I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. So thank you so much for coming in.
It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
This has been another edition of Music Local and Sustainable, and I've been your host, Dave Lake. Save this time for another show next week.
Well, I know we ain't headed for the Hall of Fame. Gonna give it what we got, man, that ain't no shame. Let me know if you can hear me. Check, check, 1, 2. Let me know if you can hear me. Check, check, 1, 2.